Okay, it looks like we are live, and hopefully now you can hear me. We are going to be upgrading to the latest Flux release today. We have a couple of mechanical assists that are going to make it much easier. I blogged about them here. This is the Team Heffy blog. And you see there have been some upgrade broadcasts before, but they are not all live. Well, this is our first live upgrade broadcast, so let's hope things go well. And let's get right into it. We're actually 3 minutes early. In case anyone is joining us on time, I'm going to make this take a little bit longer than it needs to, I think, so that they don't miss the action. But we're going to line everything up first. And what you're going to see is that I have used most of these different options here. These are not all things you need to know in order to upgrade Flux. They're separate ideas that you can use in tandem or in opposition with each other even. You wouldn't need to use Terraform together necessarily with Pulumi, for example. Pulumi's not in this article, but there's a blog post on the Flux blog about the Pulumi operator. That's another example. And what we have access to in the Weave GitOps Enterprise is this terrific listing of runtimes. So we can actually see which runtime is in use on each cluster. We see we have one aberrant cluster here that's not running the second to latest version. We're going to delete some clusters, but first we're going to upgrade them all, just to show how easy it is to upgrade them all. And we have several different GitHub actions that are in support of that. One is here. See, it's already opened a pull request for us. Another is here. And when we've merged these two pull requests, we're going to look and see how many we missed. There might be one or more we missed. I think that actually covers everything at this point except for this cluster. But we'll see. And we should see relatively quickly. What else we can see is if there's any performance impact. Although that might not show itself right away. We can use Prometheus. Where is it? Somewhere in here. I guess we want Grafana. Yeah, let's look at our Grafana dashboard. You see we've started to hit Weave GitOps Enterprise. And there are some errors. I didn't see any errors on the screen, but that's normal, I guess. Go to the Flux cluster stats and also Flux control plane. And while we're at it, let's see the Flux logs. So these are only the stats for the top level cluster. These clusters are nested. So the stats are not really very helpful, frankly. But we'll probably do better in a future broadcast. Anyway, this is not about the Flux stats. We're just pulling them up so we can see if there's any performance impact when we do the upgrade, or if we can even tell that it happened. And it looks like my Flux logs are not functioning. I'll have to come back and check that out later. All right, we're going to merge the pull request. Said this would be a fast video. So this pull request is from RenovateBot, which I really like because it actually includes not only the changelog for the latest release, but if you're upgrading across multiple releases, it will include all of the changelogs. So you can review them right here. And this one is from the GitHub Actions bot, which is the Flux official way. it's documented here in the docs. We see some things happening already. So under installation is where you find the upgrade information with different suggested ways to upgrade. You can run Bootstrap again if this is how you installed Flux the first time. Just upgrade your CLI. And you can also follow this link to the GitHub Actions configuration, which is exactly what we've done to create this pull request. This configuration here that uses the Flux GitHub action for installing the Flux CLI. It runs an update command that simply overwrites the GOTK components.yaml. If you have more than one Flux cluster, like I do, you can point it at multiple, just repeat this command, and there you go. I've just saved you. You don't have to read this blog post anymore. So let's see how we did. Flux runtime. See, we have almost all. So there's one we missed. There's another Git repo. For the management cluster that sits above the Weave GitOps Enterprise cluster. It's also configured the same way. So let's merge that one. And let's see if we can catch it upgrading live before Weave GitOps does. Let's see. Nope, it's too late. We've already seen it upgrade here in Weave GitOps, but we can see our new pods, or what's been upgraded exactly. It's a new version of the source controller. That's what's new in 0.40.1. So I said we'd look at the changelog also. So here's the changelog. And we also want to look at the source controller changelog, since that will have some details that were not in the parent changelog. And we see that this release is about resolving a memory issue. So the most recent release of source controller had this regression in it. And also to be aware, if you're upgrading from a much older release of Flux, you want to go back to 0.35.0 to see the changes that are breaking changes. Here we go. They're highlighted with the traffic cone. So we have a new format for revisions. If you were parsing these and doing anything with them, this will be important. And the artifact checksum has been deprecated. For more information around this change, refer to RFC 005. So the theme of this release is RFC 005, it seems. And there you go. We've done our upgrades. Let's go delete clusters that are not in use anymore. I think we can get rid of this one. Can we do multiple, create a PR to delete clusters? We can't delete that cluster here. We can delete this cluster, and this cluster, but not all at the same time. Let's delete this one. Some of these clusters are managed inside of Weave GitOps, and some of them are managed outside. That's why we see some of them can be deleted here and some of them cannot. So we're going to go to GitHub, give it this access token. It's going to ask me for my authentication code. This is where I always lose the plot. There we go. We're all set. So Flux is going to hang on to this authorization for a minute so we can open additional pull requests without repeating that flow. It's actually a little bit longer than a minute, but for the sake of argument, let's just get some of these clusters out of the way. Sorry, Somtochi. I'm going to delete your cluster. It's okay, you can put it back. Okay, I think that's all of them. Let's see what all we're removing. So this is the cluster definition itself. What was in this file? GitOps cluster, cluster, and vcluster. We have the bases customization that pulled in our role-based access control rules, and we have the Flux configuration itself here. So I don't need to review these, I can just merge them. This is my cluster, I can do what I want. And we're just going to do the same thing down the line. See 5 files again. I think it's the same 5 files. I'm sure it's fine to delete them all. Here, this one had a few things on it. Let's see what they were. Podinfo demo namespace and Podinfo Flux system customization. I think that's from the Podinfo app we added. Okay, merge that one too. Here we can delete some of these branches as we go along, so we're not leaving them behind. And we have one more. You see they are kicking into action. Those clusters are deleted. We have one left here. And the others are external clusters. I'd like to delete this one also, if I can figure out where it is. There we go. All cleaned up. I think that's it for today.